Suicide is a rich person's problem. And when the U.S. government did a research in 2000, I believe, 17, they said that over 72% of the people that commit suicide are middle to upper class, meaning that suicide is a rich person's problem. Poor people generally don't commit suicide. Now this defies logic. Why? You would think that the poor people should commit suicide because they have nothing to look forward to. That's the opposite of truth. And the reason why is because rich people get to a level of depression and hopelessness because they assume that their wealth will buy them happiness. Their cars will be happy. Their house will give them happiness. And once they acquire all the material they have, all the material they want, and they realize they're still depressed, they're still going to get a divorce, their kids still hate them, they're still addicted to drugs, and still pretty much they have the same or even worse problems than anybody else they know, they become much more hopeless faster than the poor person. And the reason why is because the poor person still has hope that all of his problems could potentially be solved if he had more money. If he had more money. Now, that rich person or poor person that committed suicide did not commit suicide because he had a problem that he couldn't deal with. He committed suicide because he got to his own conclusion, wrong conclusion nonetheless, but wrong conclusion, that his current status is permanent. Meaning that his current misery, whether it's a broken heart, or a broken bank account, or a broken company, or a broken marriage, or perhaps even a loss in a family, like somebody died. He believes that his current state of mind, his current sadness, his current situation is never going to change. And anyone that lives long enough will tell you that it does change eventually. It does change eventually. Time does change. So even if somebody lost a son or a daughter, chas v'shalom, or perhaps somebody lost their company, lost their money, there's plenty of people that have recovered if they continued. For example, during the 2008 crash of the market, there was one German billionaire that lost 90% of his wealth. He was already in his late 60s. He was worth $9 billion in 2006. By 2008, he lost over 90% of his money. He was only worth over a few $100 million. He decided that life is not worth living with just a few $100 million. It's not worth living. So he committed suicide. He went into a train track and let the train hit him. Now his son, who inherited all of his problems, inherited all the debt that he had, all the companies that failed, the few $100 million that, it's not so much money. Guess what? Between 2008 and 2018, he grew those few $100 million to even more money than his father had. Because the situation that his father saw wasn't actually as bad as his father thought. It wasn't permanent. Some of the assets recovered, some of the companies recovered, some of the things weren't as bad as they looked at that time. And that's the problem with people that get depressed. They assume that their current depression is permanent. And that's the problem when somebody does not have emunah and bitachon in Hashem. When you believe that you're the one that controls your own destiny, it's very, very simple to become hopeless. It's very simple to justify suicide. But when you realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one that's running the world, and He's the one that can save you from everything, He's the one that can heal you from everything, He's the one that does everything, meaning that if you have a pain on your side, if you have a pain in your heart, if you have a pain in your bank account, if you have a pain anywhere, He's the one that's doing it, and He's also the one that can heal it. If you understand this single point, you'll never get depressed, and you'll always have hope for the future, regardless of how many problems you have. But if you don't realize this point, and you think that you are in control of your own destiny, and your own bank account, and your own success, then it becomes very, very easy to become depressed and suicidal, simply because you realize that you cannot fix it. And you're right, you can't fix it. But you're wrong because you think that you're the one that's obligated to fix it. Hashem's the one that's going to fix it. You just have to believe in Him.